your participation. Thank you for your taking out time of your schedules to come and to learn. And it's always truly a blessing to be able to share the wonderful things that we find in the Torah of Yahweh. And this is what keeps me going. This is my life. This is what I do. I will read in English tonight, just for the sake of time. Blessed be Yahweh, our Elohim. Blessed is Yahweh, our Elohim, for all eternity. We bless Yahweh because he is our Elohim. He is the King of the universe, and he has selected us from all the peoples, and he's given us his Torah. We bless Yahweh, for he is the giver of the Torah. We bless him because he is our Elohim. He's the King of the entire universe, and he has given us the Torah, and the Torah has truth in it. He's implanted eternal life within it, and he's blessed us by giving this to us. So we bless him and we thank him for this. We thank him for his consistent desire for us to learn and to be guided in the path of the Torah. The Torah is what changes a person's mind and their heart, and ultimately the outcomes of their life. And so we're really thankful for that. Praise be to him. Looking in the book of Jeremiah, let's go there right quick. Okay. Excellent question. It's excellent. Do you want to know, does this apply to me? How does this work? Right. Mm-hmm. And one other thing too, before we go into the understanding of Jeremiah, is that what the Creator says too is that, like our Torah portion, it says, be ye holy, for I am holy. Right. And because you and I are joined to him, we are bound to a covenant with Yahweh forever. No matter what he says or whatever time he said it, you and I should always be listening to what he says. Because he condemns the ancestors because they wouldn't listen to what he said. So for us, it behooves you and I to say, whatever he said, I'm going to listen to it carefully, because even if, say, it was thousands of years ago, something's in it for you to learn from it. Like what we're learning in our Torah portions, and we're learning from the language, and we're learning from the culture. We learn a lot. We're learning from what they would call the past. We're learning because you and I are going back over everything that they used to do, and we're examining their lives. And he's given that pathway, and he's teaching us. And so every time we hear him speak, we should be listening. And even if it doesn't apply to us at that in particular moment, like, for example, we don't have any offerings. We don't have any offerings right now besides our thanks. We can give him our thanks. We give him our gratitude, our Toda Rabah. But does that mean that he doesn't want any more offerings? No. So, when he says, well, he doesn't apply to us right now, well, that's, we don't want to segment him and say, that this only applied at this time. And we're discriminating when we do that. And so he doesn't really want us to do that. He wants us to look at, say, okay, well, this happened in the days of the kings, but what I want you to do is look at what they did. And I need you to learn from it.
And doesn't he also say that there's nothing new under the sun?
Oh yeah, that's what Shlomo has said, right? There's nothing new, meaning that the challenges the challenges that they have, we have. There's nothing new. Everything that the earth has always been. There's always been the cycles of the sun and the moon and the stars. All because you and I just got here doesn't mean that it's never been here before, right? There's always been, this idea of multiplication and growth and blessing and growth. Okay. There's been death. Death has been part of this. This is our experience. This is who we are. We're creatures that he decided to make in his image and his likeness, meaning to represent his character, which we're going to get into more again, okay, coming on Shabbat. But here, listen what Yeremiah says in chapter number 13. He said, Yahweh said to me, go buy for yourself a linen loincloth and wrap it around your body, but don't soften it in water. Okay, so just go buy it. Don't do anything to it. Just, don't add anything to it. Don't, just wrap it around yourself. So he said, I bought a loincloth, as Yahweh had said, and I put it on. And this is the life of a prophet. Okay. A prophet's job is to, and I don't know if you guys know what a prophet is, but I'll share it with you right quick. Just little information. It's not bad for us to learn. There's, come on, pen. Get a pen that goes. Where are you? Boy, technology be letting you down, man. When you really need it, it'd be like tripping sometimes. Like, what is its problem? Okay, I just got to use my finger. A prophet, okay, is called a nabi. Man, this is ugly. Nabi. Okay, you pronounce it navi. Okay, all right. So there's two words or two consonants that are used that you need to worry about, which are the noon. Okay, and I'm writing this direction now, which is a noon, and then the bet. Okay, just the opposite of a sun. Okay, Bain. This is navi. Okay, the yod. The root of it has to do with the noon and the bet. Okay, so what we know about a noon is that it's a seed. Okay, and what we know about a bet, it's a house or a dwelling or a tent. Okay, means inside. Okay, so the seed means to continue. Okay, because that's what a seed does. It grows and it develops. The tent is somewhere that you dwell in, that's inside. Okay. All right. So what's happening is that the seed is inside the tent, and or for example, the seed is inside of a fruit. Okay. You really don't. Yah will give a seed to something and he will hide it. And then once it develops, then it will come, like a vegetable. When you put it in the ground, you don't know what it is when it's in a seed form. The moment you put it inside something, you hide it, then eventually it will come out. It would develop. So that's what a prophet is. So what a prophet does is when a prophet speaks, they're supposed to speak. And what they're doing is they're hiding something. That's their job. A navi is something to hide. So they hide the seed within them. And so what they do is Yah tells them, go tell the people this. And so they'll say something. Okay. So what they're saying is there's something hidden in what they're saying. Okay. And it won't be revealed. Okay. Until a certain time. Okay. And until it's developed. So in this case, as you can see, because remember, anytime we're dealing with anything, we're always dealing with time. And we're dealing with space. Okay. We're dealing with time and space. So he says, go buy a linen loincloth to wrap around your body. Okay. Don't soften it in water. So I bought the loincloth as Yahweh had said to me, and I put it on. So he did what he told him. Then the word of Yahweh came to me a second time. Okay. He says, take the loincloth that you bought, okay, and are wearing, get up and go to Parah and hide it there in the hole of the rock. Okay. So listen, Yah is about hiding things. All right. And for a certain period of time. Okay. So I went and I hid it in Parah. Okay. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have the letters of the Pei, which is for Parah. And then we got the Resh, and then we got the Hey. Okay. I see par in there. Par means fruit. Okay. That's what it means. That's where you get your word peri, fruit. Okay. Or para, to break a grain open. All right. So this in particular area has to do with something about a fruit, something that's hidden. So he says, and listen to this, after a long time afterwards, Yahweh said to me, get up and go to Parah. Okay. So it was quite some time. Remember, I told you time and space, and recover the loincloth that I ordered you to hide there. All right. So question is, why is Yah hiding things? Why do you guys think Yah hides things? Or why would you hide something?
I want you to seek it.
You wouldn't want somebody to know something right then.
You don't want something to know something right then. You're trying to hide it so it could be revealed later. You're putting it somewhere. You're tucking it away. Okay. So he's telling him to do this. So again, anytime a prophet is saying something based off of what they are, a prophet, Yahweh is telling us that I'm going to say something to them and I have a reason. Okay. I have a purpose. The purpose might be for that time, but it also could mean for me to tell you a different message. Okay. Because a prophet is supposed to reveal something. And if they don't, and if it doesn't come to pass, then Yah says, and that's not the prophet you need to listen to. Okay. Because there's three types of prophets. There's three. Okay. And we'll go over those in just a few moments, but there's three types. And if they don't have the qualifications that he wants them to have, you can't listen to them. But there's three of them. All right. So he says this. So I went and I hid it as Yahweh ordered me. A long time afterwards, Yahweh said to me in verse 6, get up and go to Parah and recover the loincloth I've ordered you to hide there. So I went to Parah, I dug up the loincloth, but when I took it out from the place where I had hidden it, I saw that it was ruined and useless for anything. So he's not able to wear it anymore. He's not able to do nothing. Can't do nothing with it. Then the word of Yahweh came to me. Okay. So over some time, a long time, okay, which is figurative language about time and space and, where it's at and location. He says, verse 9, here is what Yahweh says. This is how I will ruin what makes Yehuda so proud and Jerusalem so very proud. Okay. That's what he said I'm going to do. I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ruin them. Okay. I will ruin this evil people. Just like that loincloth. Who refuse to hear my words and live according to their own stubborn inclinations. Who go after other gods to serve and worship them, because that's the mindset. Okay. They will be like this loincloth. So now the loincloth is indicative in a picture, in a representation of these people. They're good for nothing. Okay. So to answer your question, Akoti Pam, you said, hey, when do you know that something's applicable to you? Well, he's telling these in particular people, according to context, he's talking about the evil people that are part of Yehuda and Jerusalem at that time who are very proud. Now we know that Yehuda has been scattered and we know Jerusalem has been destroyed from where we are in time, in space. Okay. And so he says, listen, I'm going to ruin these evil people. Okay. But this doesn't mean that there's only evil people there. It means that Yah is letting us know that anybody who is evil, I'm going to ruin them too. Okay. I'm going to ruin an evil person. Someone who's bent on misery and doing what's wrong. I'm going to ruin them just like I ruin these people. This is for our learning. So, and guess what? And what makes them evil? Because they refuse to hear my words. Because often it would say what he said to them doesn't apply to me. Yahweh's words are lifetime guarantees. Okay. According to your life. See, so his words are applicable to your life. If your life is 80 years, his words are good for 80 years in your life. And those who come after. So his words will never stop. So, but they refuse to hear my words. What words? What words did they refuse to hear? He would always send them. Who did he send to them all the time, but they wouldn't listen?
The prophets.
He sent the prophets. Okay. And he sends three types. Okay. Because he's going to find out who is going to listen to him. So he says these particular people, which you and I can say, evil people are those who refuse to hear my words. Evil people are ones who live according to their own stubborn inclinations. The thoughts of their own minds are bent on doing what they want to do. Okay. And who go after other gods, not only there, but also in our time, and serve and worship them. So yes, he's talking to Yehuda, he's talking to the people of Jerusalem, but he's also letting us know that if you and I have any of these things, then you're evil. Yah is not a respecter of persons, okay? But he does discriminate. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I'm excited. If I don't know if you can't tell, but I'm excited because in the process of Kodashim, meaning holiness, it means to be set apart and to be distinguished, to be made different. And one of the words that harmonizes with that is discrimination. So what Yah does, he discriminates between his people and the rest of the world. He only he only cares. Listen, he only cares about the people that he knows. He loves us. He didn't say he loved the world. I need you to hear what I said. He has not said that he loves the world. That's what you have from an anonymous writer in the New Testament who they don't even know who wrote that. It said, God so loved the world. That's their story and their narrative, who we don't even know who wrote that book. I'll give a person $1,000 if they can tell me who wrote the book of John. Because what the church fathers don't know, it's all in third party. Nobody, they're anonymous writers. Okay, so they don't know. But back to what we're talking about. Evil people exist in all frames, whether it's then or now. Okay. And he's giving us clues like, I'm telling you about this because if you're like them, I'm going to do to you what I did to them. Okay. So those who go and serve other gods and worship them, service and worship, as I've been teaching you, are different than just the letters here or the words that how it's written. Okay. Service always means avad, and avad means to serve. It means to be a slave. Okay. Okay. It means to do work. Okay. To do work for. Okay. So you may say, well, these people in our family, they just believe, but they're not really doing anything. They're not really serving other gods and they're not worshiping them. Okay. They're not doing anything for them. They're not in service to them. Oh, yes, they are. Okay. What Yah equivalates to doing and working is your way that you live your life. The work that you and I do that Yah's going to hold you responsible for is how did you live your life? What did you do? Okay. Service. That's servant. Okay. And it's a slave. Same word, servant and slave are both the same. They're equal in the Torah. Okay. And Savad. Yah calls us his slaves. And that's in Leviticus chapter number 25. You go read it for yourself. You are a slave. Okay. And Yah purchased us when he brought us out of Mizraim. So he took us out of one slavery and brought us into to be into his service as his servants, to serve him. And not only we to serve him, but we're going to do what he says. Okay. That's service, doing. And worship. Worship is different. Worship is one of paying homage and showing respect unto. Okay. The one you show respect to. So how you live your life and what you do and, who you give reverence to and who you show respect to and homage and who you give the accolades and the praise and the thanks and the acknowledgement. So if you and I don't call the creator by his name, then you're not showing any respect to him. If you call him God, it could be any God. It could be, MOLEK or whatever, it could be JSUS, it could be the God of who, it could be Baal, it could be any of these gods. Okay. It could be anyone. So you and I have to be very, very careful. Okay. When you said, well, that's double talk, because you said there are no other gods except for Elohim. It's true. There is no other Elohim except for him. He's alone. Okay. But in the minds of the human beings on the earth, they worship and serve other gods that they've created. And they create gods based upon their experience, okay, with nature. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why he doesn't want us to make gods, is because what they do is, for example, there's in nature, there's storms, There's raging waters, in terms of the seas. There's the stars and the planets and the sun and the moon, and so all the things in the heavenly bodies. Okay. And then so they got that in nature, and then on the earth they have the vegetation. Okay. And they have cycles of fertility, and they look at which animal is the most fertile, and so they make gods for all different types of things, things that they're afraid of and things that they want to get from the gods. So if you're in the land and you want the land to be fertile, they worship a god of a cow, or they may make a god out of something else that has to do with nature or agriculture. So that's what human beings have been doing ever since they've been on earth. They've admired everything else except for that which they cannot see, which is the creator. And so that's the reason why he's always saying, don't make these gods. So in their minds, and this is the mind of someone who doesn't understand the creator of the heavens and the earth, they go after other gods. Okay. They really don't, that are nothing, that don't exist. Okay. Because Yahweh, our Elohim, and what does Elohim mean? Power of powers. Okay. And that word Elohim, El is the root of that word, and that represents power. Okay. And the Im on the end, the Yod and the Mem that we have up here, or what if I put it in the word Elohim, that has to do with the multiplication of power. Okay. So what Yah is telling us is that I'm the power of all powers. So everything that everyone's looking to be the power, like an ox or a bird in the sky, or the sun has its power of heat and light and these things, they don't understand that I control all of it. But what they've done is they've segmented and chopped me down to all different types of gods. They made me into many other gods by calling, saying that this is the god of this. This is the, let's worship the grasshopper, because without them this would be this. So let's worship the hippopotamus. He drinks a lot of water. He's good for it. Let's worship the alligator. Let's worship the god of cereal. And that's real true. It's in your cabinet. The name of that god is called Sirius. Okay, so there's all kind of gods that the people have made. Okay, all the time. But they don't want the oneness and the unity of this one power of all powers, the master, okay, of all. He's the master of the sea. He's the master of the sun, the moon, the stars. And so what they're doing, you guys, is they're robbing the creator. His name is Yohewaheh, blessed be his name. They're robbing him from the service and the worship, because the life that they live is one that's been, defiled by this idea, okay, of these other gods that don't exist. It's a slap in the face. Yah is the one, his name means the self-existing one. Okay. So, but he said they will be like the loincloth. These people, useless for anything. So evil people who refuse to hear my words are useless for anything. You don't have there's no reason why you should exist. You're useless. You don't have nothing in your life. If we're living according to our own stubborn inclinations, meaning our process, our inclinations, what's our inclination? What are we like? What do we consist of? Yah says the man is nothing but dust, and you're nothing but ashes. And that he's responsible for giving you your breath that you're breathing right now is because of him. Every part of your being is because of him. It's an intricate design. You exist because he allows you to exist. Okay. So, but in this life that you and I have, Yah knows that because you are made of dust and because you do make mistakes, and if you're taught wrong, then you're going to make wrong moves. Okay. The evil is the one who's raw. That's what evil means. Okay. And it means someone who's miserable, but also to one who doesn't function correctly, which is called dysfunction. That's what evil is. It's dysfunction. You're not operating the way that you're supposed to, the way you were designed. We were never designed to believe in many other gods and taking credit and homage and honor and respect that's due unto our creator to give unto another God that doesn't exist. And that's why he says, you are my witnesses, that I am the only one. And that's where our ancestors have a problem with, because they want to be like everyone else. So he says, for just as a loincloth clings to a man's body, I made the whole house of Israel. Okay. Again, a koti. This talks about the whole house. So, okay. So I made the whole house. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks now that we're an eternal people. He tells us that I made this whole house. The whole house of Israel consists of how many tribes?
12.
12. Okay. And so you should learn their names because they're your family members. You know, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, you know, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Yosef, Benjamin, and Ephraim, and Manasseh. Those are our family, right? We don't know which one of those families we come from, but we're related, all of us. I don't care if you're in Texas and I'm from Port Arthur like my mom and them, but we're all related, okay? So because we're family, Yah's letting us know that when I'm talking to the whole house, okay, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
I don't care if it was 10,000 years ago because I'm eternal. So if you try to lock my words down and isolate them to, you know, to a couple of years in, you know, 100 BCE, then there's a problem because you don't recognize that I exist. And therefore, my words are good for all time. So no matter when I said it, I said it to the whole house of Israel. Okay. So listen to this. So now the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Yehuda. Okay. Yeah. So now he's speaking about when there were two houses. The first house is Israel. Then it got separated and it got to the second house. This is the northern, okay, which consists of, I think it was 9.5 tribes, if I'm not mistaken. And then how here in Judah, it was 2.5. The 2.5 is this: Judah, or which is Yehuda, Lewi, okay, half a tribe, and then Benjamin. Okay. Benjamin stayed down with Yehuda. They were next to each other. Okay. So the kingdom was split, northern tribe up here and the southern tribe down here. Okay. So he said, cling to me. That's what his desire is. That's why I made you all, is to cling to me, says Yahweh. Okay. So that they could be my people. That's why. Building me a name and becoming for me a source of praise and honor. Okay. That's why I made you. That's why I made you. This is the reason why you and I exist, because you and I are supposed to be the ones that is supposed to build him a name. Okay. I don't know if we really fully have ever considered and thought about that in terms of him being the king of the universe who selected you and I, not only to keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, but in the process of keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments, and the Shabbats and living a Kadashim life, that you and I have been the ones that he has designated, okay, to build him a name. If you and I are going to build him a name, you and I must serve and worship him. That's the building, okay, because you and I are his servants. So as a servant, you and I are to build him a name, and you and I are to become for him a source of praise and honor. Okay. So it goes both ways. Okay. So he's using us as a source. He could have used anyone else on the face of this earth, but he chose us, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars, everything, the sea. He wanted you and I to be these people. Okay. But he said, but they wouldn't listen to me. They would not listen. They won't listen. Okay. And that's the problem. So when we read in our Torah portion about Kadashim and the set apartness and that which is just, distinguished, and to differentiate between certain things, which we'll talk a little bit more about that on Shabbat, he's letting us know that, hey, listen, they wouldn't listen to me, because the only way that you and I can ever build him a name is that we have to become Kadashim. The only way that you and I will ever be a source of praise and honor is if you are Kadashim. That's the only way. So it behooves us to what? Listen. Okay. That's what he wants from his people. His people are being very, very difficult. Okay. But I wanted to share this tonight because I want to also show you a part of him that you and I have not been told about. Now, he called them evil. He said, you guys are doing these things, that he told us what it is. But I want to show you something about him that often we don't get. Okay. Number one, he said he's going to ruin these people, these evil people. Okay. Verse 12 says, so you are to tell them. This is what Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, says. Every bottle, okay, is filled with wine. Then when they ask you, because that's what they're going to ask, don't we already know that every bottle is filled with wine? See, because they're like, why are you saying something we already know? He said, you are to answer them. This is what Yahweh says. I am going to fill the inhabitants of this land, Jerusalem and Yehuda, including the king sitting on the throne of David with, the Kohanim, sitting on the throne of David, the Kohanim, the prophets, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to smash them against another, one against another. Even the fathers against and the sons together. Okay. So Yah's literally saying that every one of these people that he talks about, which is the kings that are sitting on David's throne, not kings, plural. The Kohanim, plural. Prophets, plural. Inhabitants, plural. Okay. With drunkenness. They're the bottles. Okay. And I'm going to smash them one against another. Okay. I'm going to break every last one of them against each other. Okay. And I'm going to break their fathers and the sons. I'm going to smash them again together. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to smash them. Says Yahweh, I will show them neither pity nor compassion. That's what he wants us to understand about him. I will show neither pity nor compassion, but I will destroy them relentlessly. Why is Dawid laughing when he talks about Yah showing no pity and no compassion? Because in context, he's talking about people who are going to do things the way that they want to do it when they're not listening to him. He's not going to do this to them only. He's going to do it to anybody that won't listen to what he says. Okay. He will destroy, and what I'm talking about is, in context, he's destroying the leadership. Okay. He's destroying the leadership from the top, which is the kings, the priests, which are on second in power, and then the prophets, which are third, and then the inhabitants of Jerusalem. I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to give them confusion. Okay. Wine gives the person drunk, makes them drunk. So what he's going to do is since you guys don't want to listen and you don't want to do what I'm telling you to do, I'm going to fill you all the way up to the brim with wine, with drunkenness. And then after I finish doing that to you, I am going to smash you one against another. I'm going to break every last one of you together to destroy you. That's when he says, I'm going to ruin you. Okay. Because wine that's not in a bottle is no good. You understand? And neither is the bottle because it's smashed. I will show neither pity nor compassion, but I will destroy them relentlessly. Listen and pay attention. Don't be proud, for Yahweh has spoken. Now you ask yourself, who's he talking to? those of us who understand, and when the Creator talks, he's talking to whoever would listen to him. Okay. Whoever would listen to him, this applies to you. He's giving you a learning lesson in what he's about to do to them, and he's telling you about his character. He's telling us that this is the other side of me that nobody wants to talk about. Okay. This is why the Christians don't want you to read this, because you're going to read about nothing but love and compassion. You're not going to read where you will find out that he will not neither spare nor have pity. There's moments in time when Yah does not show any compassion, and he doesn't pity, and he destroys them relentlessly. Yah, there's times in history where Yah will starve out everybody and kill everything and everyone, including the animals. See? Why? Because they will not listen and pay attention. But he tells us here, don't be proud. Don't be proud. About what? About what Yah is saying. He's saying this so you and I can humble ourselves, okay? And then what does he want? The prophet tells us that then he instructs us, listen, give glory to Yahweh. Give glory to him. Your Elohim before darkness, falls before your feet, stumble on the mountains in the twilight, and while you are seeking light, he turns it into death-like shadows and makes it completely dark. But if you will not hear this warning, I will weep secretly because of your pride. So again, we find that if we don't pay attention, then he's telling us that you're being proud. If you and I are going to be prideful, okay, then that's when you're going to be destroyed, because this is the warning. But he says, if you don't hear it, if you will not hear it, I will weep secretly because of your pride. My eyes will weep bitterly. They call Yeremi Yehu the weeping prophet, streaming with tears because Yahweh's flock is carried away captive. Okay. And then he goes on to tell them what is going to happen to them. All right. But let me finish out by telling you about these three in particular prophets, these three types, because I mentioned that. Okay. The first type of prophet that you need to be aware of, and all three are found in the book of Deuteronomy. So write this down. In the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, okay, Hebrew, Devarim, meaning the words, you will find, and we'll begin in chapter number 13, just so I don't have to bring you back, okay, because it's going to be found in 13 and 18. Okay, where did it go? Okay. So in chapter number 13, this in particular prophet, he says this in verse number 1. If a prophet or someone who gets a message while dreaming arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, this is what they're going to do. This is a prophet or someone who has a dream or gets messages while dreaming. So it's a dreamer. And the sign or wonder comes about as he predicted. So this prophet or this dreamer, what they said actually came about, it predicted. And then he says, look, let's follow the other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. Okay. So that's the kicker. So this prophet didn't come in anyone's name. What he did is he gave a sign and he gave a wonder. He never mentions the name of the creator. Okay. Yahweh says that you are not, and this is scary what I'm about to show you. So this prophet brings a sign and wonder. He says you are not to listen to what that prophet or dreamer says. Why? Because your Elohim is testing you in order to find out if you really do love Yahweh with all your heart and being. Okay. Your heart, of course, is your mind, not your little heart like this. And your being is your soul, your nefesh. And your nefesh is your who you are, the essence of who you really are, your life, your soul. Okay. So you are to follow Yahweh, your Elohim, and fear him and obey his commandments and listen to what he says. Serve him and cling to him And that prophet or dreamer is to be put to death because he urged rebellion against Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim and redeemed you from a life of slavery, in order to seduce you away from the path that Yahweh your Elohim ordered you to follow. And then, of course, it ends by saying, this is how, I'm going to erase all this right quick. This is how you are to rid the community, and I'm pretty sure it's wickedness. Yes, it is. Of this wickedness. Okay. So that's the first prophet, the one that Yah sends to test you. This other one, this prophet could come and he could do a miracle and a sign. He could turn water into wine. But the kicker is this: he never mentioned Yahweh's name. He only does a sign or a wonder. Okay. That's all he does. He does a sign or a wonder. Period. So that's why he wants to find out, because I'm going to test my people. I want to see if you guys are into magic. I want to see if you guys are going to do the magic show. If you're impressed with this. That's a cold test. And it's being compared to what? What is the magic show being compared to? He says Yahweh was going to send him to test you. Okay. He's sending him to test you, see if you really do love Yahweh. Right. And it says you are to follow Yahweh and fear him and obey his commandments and listen to what he says. Serve him and cling to him. And then, it goes on to say that. So the magic show and the signs and the wonders are being compared to what Yahweh said. It's what he says. Because remember, the other one is like, I just showed you this sign and wonder. This is the one, the God, the true and living God. His name is God. And our people are so dumb, they would be like, oh, God, yes, he's the creator. Yay, yay. We got the same God. You might be a Muslim, but we got the same God. No. Our Elohim is not the God of the New Testament. This is where our people got a problem with. Because that God over there, he doesn't give you any of these mitzvot. He doesn't give you this super duper fear. It says you come boldly into his throne now. You can walk your behind right up there, no problem. It doesn't tell you to listen to what he says. It tells you to listen what his so-called alleged son says, and to the people that he put in business, fishermen and tent makers. That's what it tells you to listen to. It doesn't tell you to follow Yahweh and his path, but you follow Christ and his disciples. And you follow the New Testament. When half the books in them are anonymous writers by the European church fathers. Yeah. Okay. That's that prophet. All right. So let's go somewhere else. Same book, Davarim. And remember, these are words that Moshe was telling the children of Israel before they go into the land. Okay. So let me share it with you. We'll start in verse number 9, I believe it is. Yes. Just to confirm what Yahweh says. Verse number 9 says this, 9 and 18, it says, when you enter the land, because Moshe's talking to the children of Israel. He's not going in, they are. But he's telling them, hey, when you go in the land that Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, you are not to learn how to follow. Okay. I don't need you to follow the abominable practices of those nations, which Yah already told this in Leviticus chapter number 18. He's reiterating because it's 40 years later. There must not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire. Is that not what we read in our Torah portion? You can't offer your children up to the Moloch. Okay. A diviner, a soothsayer, an enchanter, a sorcerer, a spellcaster, a consulter of ghosts and spirits, or a necromancer. Okay. You're not supposed to deal with these type of people. And these are people who consult with ghosts, kind of like the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit. These words are never found in the Tanakh or the Torah. They're not. The word holy is actually a Latin word, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's a Latin word. No, sorry, it's Old English. Sorry, it's Old English. Okay. It's Old English. And you look it up and look it up for yourself and see where it comes from. It's not Kadosh. Okay. So these are the type of people, when you go in the land, I don't want you dealing with. And whoever does these types of things, right, who does these things is detestable to Yahweh. Just like eating a Shalom offering on the third day. It's detestable to Yahweh. It's unclean. It's defiled. And because of these abominations, Yahweh is driving them out ahead of you, like he told you in Leviticus 18. I'm putting everybody out of the land because of the practices that they commit. All the stuff they were doing, the sexual stuff. I'm about to put them out. But you must be wholehearted. Okay. We're getting to the prophet. Don't worry. You must be wholehearted, because if you're dealing with these things up here, you're not wholehearted with me. Okay. You're not wholehearted. I need you to be 100 with me. And I know whether or not you are or not. And we'll figure out what that is. Because, and I told you what my name is. My name is Yahweh. You're Elohim. Okay. For these nations which you're about to dispossess, listen to soothsayers and diviners. But you, Yahweh your Elohim does not allow you to do this. One of the things we'll find in our Torah portion are the things that you do and you don't. There's certain allowances for you that you're able to do, and there's certain things that Yah does not allow you to do because he's your Elohim. Okay, I got to finish this before we go. Yahweh will raise up for you a prophet. Now, in context, okay, in context, because we just found out that he talked about soothsayers, he talked about diviners, he talked about all these people who were supposed to come and bring them a message and tell them what the future is going to be. Yah says, I will raise up a prophet for you. A prophet, not the prophet, like they would like in Christianity to say that this is the prophet Christ. No, a prophet. A prophet could be any prophet from any family. A prophet. It's an indefinite article. Okay. What do I mean by indefinite? Well, you got definite. Okay. And then you got indefinite. Okay. So let's just keep definite very simple. It means the, and then an indefinite is the word a. You and I know in Hebrew, there is no letter A. In Hebrew, okay? So, but there is a definite article. The A is implied. That's what it means. But the definite article means this. I got 3 books on the table. They're all different colors. Yellow, red, and green. I tell you, go get me the book. Go give me a book. You would say, you would bring me any book. You could bring me the red, the green, whatever. Bring me a book, okay? If I told you to bring me the book and you would ask me which one, I would have to determine and put a direct object marker on it. I'd have to put a definite article on it to say this one right here. The book, the red book, the green book, or the yellow book, okay? So you're pointing directly to what you're talking about. Okay, so here, this is not an arrow pointing directly to one in particular prophet. It's talking about any prophet. Okay, any prophet. Yahweh is going to raise up a prophet, and he's going to tell you what prophet, what type of prophet. The prophet of Deuteronomy 13? No, that's a different prophet. This prophet here is one like me. And who's talking? Moshe. So this particular prophet is going to be like Moshe. Okay. And how was Moshe? Moshe was receiving information from Yahweh to tell the children of Israel. So he's saying he's going to raise up a prophet for you, like me, from among yourselves. So all prophets are going to come out of the children of Israel. That's where they're going to come from. They're not going to be from any other people. They're not going to come from no one else. They're only going to be, okay, this classification of prophet here is going to come from among yourselves, meaning out of the 12 tribes, your own family members, your kinsmen, your brothers, see, prophetess, your sister. Okay. And you are to pay attention. See, as Moshe said, pay attention to him. Okay. That's what you're going to do, because he'll be like me. And being like him means he's going to tell you what who said. Because Moshe only told you what Yahweh said. So this prophet is going to be like me. And he's going to come from among yourselves and out of your own family. And you need to pay attention to him. Okay. And this is the reason why this in particular classification of prophet, when you were assembled at Korev is called Mount Sinai. And what happened on Mount Sinai? What happened there?
They didn't want to hear.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear, praise Yah, but there was fire, remember? And so they didn't want to hear. At that place, they requested Yahweh, your Eloheka, don't let me hear the voice of Yahweh, my Elohim, anymore, or let me see this great fire again. If I do, I will die. So they knew if we keep seeing this, we're going to die. And it was true. And on that occasion, Yahweh said to me, they are right in what they're saying. They were 100% correct when they said this. Okay. I will raise up, listen, Yah speaking, I will raise up a prophet for them a prophet like you from among their kinsmen. Okay. I will put my words in his mouth and he will what? He will tell them everything I ordered him. The prophet in number 13 of Deuteronomy, I put here Devarim 13, is the prophet that didn't mention Yahweh's name. It's a prophet that Yah did not put his words in his mouth. Yah's just using him to test us to see if we love and will listen to what Yahweh says. Okay. This prophet here is the one that Yah says, I will raise up a prophet. One of the prophets that he raised up is Isaiah, Yashayahu, Yeremiah, Kiziel, Hosea, Yoel, Yonah. You understand? He raises up prophets. Okay. And whatever he puts his words in that prophet's mouth, that prophet will speak. Now listen, whoever doesn't listen to my words that came out of that prophet's mouth, okay, he will speak which he will speak in my name, will have to account for himself to me. Okay. So the stipulation is I'm going to give him my words, everything I'm going to tell him to say, just like I told Moshe, go tell him everything I told you. As soon as this guy or female does it, whoever doesn't listen to my words, which he will speak in my name, here's the kicker. It's in the name of Yah. This is how you know that this in particular prophet is classified as the one who speaks in Yahweh's name. I always ask this question, which I would want you to ask people. Which one of the disciples, apostles, or even Yeshua, the Christ himself, have they ever spoken in Yahweh's name, which is the Yod, the Hey, the Wat, the Hey? That's his name. His name is the Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, not God, not the Father, not the Father of lights, none of that. The signature of a prophet that's sent by Yahweh will speak in Yahweh's name. They'll have his signature, the Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. Yahweh says, thus saith Yahweh, the word of Yahweh came unto me. I saw a vision from Yahweh. Yahweh told me to do this. Yahweh. See that? And there are some prophets that will speak in his name, but it won't come to pass. Now listen to this. But if listen, because there are prophets and there's another prophet. But if a prophet presumptuously speaks a word in my name, which I didn't order him to say, or if he speaks in the name of other gods, then that prophet must die. That's your number 3 prophet. Here's your number 2 prophet, and the other one was in Deuteronomy chapter number 13. So what's the difference? The first one, we found out that he doesn't mention Yahweh's name. He just comes and performs a sign and miracle. Then we got the next prophet who is raised up by Yah. And Yah puts his words in his mouth like he did Jeremiah and Ezekiel. And they go out and tell the people what Yahweh says. And then Yah said, I'm going to hold you accountable to what they told you. The reason this happened is because the people chose to have a prophet speak to them. That's what they chose. Our ancestors chose this in particular method, this medium on how to speak to the Creator, because his intentions were to speak to us himself. We said no. We said no. We rejected listening to what he said because of our fear. Okay. Our fear wasn't that they were afraid that they were going to die, right? And they used that as the pretext, which is true. They were scared they were going to die, right? But the fear that Yahweh was looking for is the one who will come and sit and listen. Fearing Yah doesn't mean just being scared. That's not a valuable, I would say, or a fear that one should limit themselves to, just running and hiding. The fear that Yah is looking for, because he asked a question, according to this, the story that we have here back in Mount Sinai, he asked which one of them would give their heart to fear me. Okay, so that was something. We'll go over that later. But they really didn't fear him the way he wanted to be feared, because he said, I've come this way so you would be afraid, so you wouldn't sin against them. Not only 40 days later, they already built the image of an idol, which he told them not to make. Okay, so what we have here is this signature of the Creator. If his signature is not on it, and how do you know? This is the question. Then look, then Moshe says this to them. He says in 21, you may be wondering, how are we to know if a word has not been spoken by Yahweh? Kind of in line with your question, Akoti Pamela. How do you know when Yah's speaking and when he's not, right? So Yah says, you may be wondering, how are we to know if a word has not been spoken by Yahweh? He says, when a prophet, remember, a prophet means one who's hiding something within that seed. When a prophet speaks in the name, he has to speak in the name of Yahweh, and that prediction does not come true. That is, that word is not fulfilled because the seed didn't blossom. Then Yahweh did not speak that word. The prophet who said it spoke presumptuously, and he already told you what to do to that presumptuous prophet. Even though they spoke it in his name, there's prophets out there that speak in his name that are false prophets. Okay, so what do we have here? The first one, we have the one who's going to do the signs and the wonders. You got to watch out for that one. And those are found in the New Testament with turning water to wine and raising the dead and all kind of stuff. He never mentioned Yahweh's name. Okay, that's number one. The second one is the true one, the one that Yahweh will raise up. And he would speak Yahweh's words. And guess what? Yahweh's words will come to pass. And tell me why. Because the word for coming to pass is Yeh, which means 1961, which means, that was the Strong's, to exist. See, if his words don't come to pass, okay, Yah didn't put that seed in that person. Whatever Yah puts in somebody's mouth, it will come to pass. You look at any prophet that Yah has used, like Isaiah, did the things that he said, did it come to pass? Yeah. Did the temple get burned down like he said it was? Yes. Did Jeremiah, did he exile the people? Yes. Hosea, did he destroy the northern kingdom? Yes. Did he go in there and warn Nineveh? Yes. You understand? So Yah is giving prophets along the way, not just for their time, but for us who's coming along, that he'll give us the opportunity because he knows that this is the method that you and I chose for him to talk to us. You cannot discount what the prophet says. Now, listen, the prophet is not, and I want to be 100% clear with you, The prophet is not there to tell you anything except for what Yahweh has said that will line up to what Moshe commanded the children of Israel. That's what it's going to be. I'm over my time. But that's what it is. The message has always been the same. Turn back to the Torah of Moshe. Okay. So the prophets give out warnings. Okay. And he's supposed to tell you what Yahweh is saying. Not in regards to, the Torah. The Torah is established. Yahweh's already established way it is. Okay. So those are the three prophets, three types of prophets. And I always get everybody in the New Testament with this one. Why did they never mention his name? His name is mentioned 6,828 times and I put dollar signs. I must be about money right now. In the Tanakh. 500 times alone in the book of Deuteronomy. His name is mentioned 7 times in the covenant. The 10 words. See? So as long as that name is there, it means that Yah exists. If his name is attached to it, it should come to pass, because that means that I'm the one who made it happen. I'm the one who made it exist. Okay. But he said, I'll let someone do a sign and a wonder, because I don't want you to trust in a sign and a wonder. I want you to trust in what I said. Ooh. I can open the Red Sea and they'll still come out and make a golden calf. I'll feed you with manna for 40 years and you'll still have idols. I'm concerned with whether or not you would listen to what I say. I could care less about a miracle. That ain't nothing to me. I made everything. How is that something big for me? What's more important to me is for you to listen to what I said. Do what I told you to do. Pay attention to the words that came out of my mouth to my servant Moshe, which I told you that because you chose, Israel, to deal with me because you wanted to hide. So now we're on another page. Me and you're going to, when I deal with you, I'm going to have to send prophets to you because I can't talk to you any other kind of way. But even when I send them, I'll send one without my name and see if you listen to them. Yeah, I'll send somebody without my name and see if you listen to them. I'm always testing you to see if you love me. See? If you tested something, you want to find out what it really is. That's what y'all's telling us. Okay? So I'll do that. The second one I'll send, he'll raise him up from among your family. He'll be a Hebrew Israelite. But I've already told you what the prophets are, because it has to come to pass. So I've given you the prophets that I wanted to give to you. I told the prophets that I'm telling you to read right now, you're going to find on Shabbat that I talked to him, Ezekiel, and I told him some stuff that I want to tell you. Listen to him. But if you don't listen to him, you're going to bear the consequences of what you heard. So it's there. Okay. And last but least, there's some out there that are going to say that I talked to them. And they're right here in California, Texas, they're all over the place. But nothing they said have ever come to pass. Nothing. See? So what I want you to be aware of, I want you to be aware of my name. My name is hooked. So that's my signature. My signature ain't on it. I didn't send them. I don't even want you to even believe. I don't want you to believe something that you can't see. I want it to happen so you can use those eyeballs that I put in your head, that you can see what I'm talking about. Because my name was attached. Nobody else. They didn't mention any other God. They told you Yahweh said this. And then it happened. Then you will glorify me. Then you'll serve me. Then you give me the credit that's due to my name. See? So that's what it is. I don't want you to believe that I said something. I'm going to tell you about it, and then I'm going to show you, because that's when you're going to know that I am the self-existing one. I'm Yahweh. Any statements, contributions? Sorry for going over.
Thank you for that.
Oh, praise be to the King of the universe. Does that make sense though? It does, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on class today. And, you know, Lila Tov to you, and I'll see you guys on Shabbat.
Lala Tov, Toda Rabah.
Hallelujah.